Even the most promising of rookies can only do so much by themselves. If they're placed on a team with an awkward situation that doesn't exactly benefit their skill sets, then that first year can get a little ugly. While some of the members of the 2021 NFL draft class are in excellent position to succeed right off the bat, the same can't be said about a handful of others. We aren't saying that these 10 players will be draft busts. We think that the majority of them will eventually grow into stars. It's just that the situations they'll be faced with to begin their careers aren't exactly ideal, and they'll have to overcome much larger obstacles compared to some of their fellow rookies. Zack Wilson. Wilson's incredible final season at BYU made him a virtual lock as the number 2 pick well ahead of the draft. His talents were too much for the New York Jets to pass on, to the point where they were fine with trading away Sam Darnold 3 years after taking him 3rd overall. But Jets fans who are hoping for Wilson to just take off right away need to keep their expectations in check. This is a rebuilding team with a brand new coaching staff, a rookie RB1 in Michael Carter, and a rookie guard in Elijah Vera Tucker. It's going to take time for everything to come together. Plus, this is the Jets we're talking about. When's the last time this team properly developed a quarterback? They struck out on Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, and most recently Darnold. And the unfriendly New York media will obviously put a lot of pressure on Wilson in the early going. Fair or not, he's going to need some time to adjust to the bright lights in Gotham. Darnold couldn't do it in New York and was dropped after 3 seasons. Now Wilson is being tasked with the same responsibility. Not exactly an ideal situation for the young quarterback. Travis Etienne. We totally get the appeal of reuniting Trevor Lawrence with his superstar Clemson teammate. Would we have used a first-round pick on Etienne given all the other positional needs? Probably not, but that's for another day. Etienne should be a fun toy in Urban Meyer's offense. But in case you missed it, there's a guy named James Robinson on the Jacksonville Jaguars depth chart.
Sup? Oh. Hi. Didn't see you there.
We've been here literally the entire time you have.
I'm a little embarrassed.
The undrafted product rushed for 1,040 yards and 7 touchdowns for the one-win Jaguars last year. He also caught 49 passes for 344 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. We know that Meyer plans to use Etienne as his workhorse back, but at the same time, you can't just ignore the talents of Robinson after seeing what he did with such a lackluster supporting cast last year. Speaking of which, that subpar offensive line is another challenge Etienne will be faced with in Duval. We love the direction that the Jags are headed in, and we applaud the team for giving Lawrence a familiar face in the backfield. But between the threat of Robinson and the holes in their O-line, things won't be easy for Etienne off the bat. Caleb Farley. Farley was widely expected to be taken in the first half of round 1, but his back surgery scared a lot of teams away. The Virginia Tech corner fell down the board to the Tennessee Titans at number 22 overall. Cornerback was a giant position of need for the Titans, who moved on from starters Andrew Jackson and Malcolm Butler in the offseason. But asking Farley to single-handedly fix the secondary as a rookie, that is a tall order. The Titans have a very thin cornerback depth chart, but they're a Super Bowl hopeful, so they could be relying heavily on Farley to help fix a defense that allowed the 4th most passing yards a year ago. But you know what doesn't help matters? The Titans only had 19 sacks in 2020. They added Bud Dupree in free agency, but this is still one of the NFL's worst pass rushing units. And sometimes a secondary is only as good as the team's pass rush. If opposing quarterbacks continuously have all day to throw against the Titans, Farley in the secondary will be in for a long season. So, add it all up, and it's safe to say that Farley will endure plenty of growing pains in his rookie year. Alex Leatherwood. For the 3rd straight year, the Las Vegas Raiders stunned the football world by going way off the board with their first-round pick. They used the number 17 selection on Alabama offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood, who was widely expected to be a day 2 pick. The Raiders inexplicably broke up one of the NFL's best offensive lines from 2020 by trading away veteran stalwarts Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, and Trent Brown this offseason. And now Leatherwood, who may or may not be NFL ready, joins a new-look offensive line that has more question marks than answers. Offensive linemen usually take longer to develop than most other positions. Leatherwood wasn't exactly viewed as one of the top tackles in his class. And honestly, the Raiders are doing Leatherwood a great disservice by having him play on a unit with only Colton Miller as a proven standout. It's just not a great situation for Leatherwood to play in. The least the Raiders could have done was keep some of the other vets like Jackson and Hudson to help mentor Leatherwood and get him ready for the professional level. Peyton Turner. Major salary cap woes forced the New Orleans Saints to cut ties with several key players this offseason. Drew Brees retired following an injury-filled 2020 season, and they opted against retaining veteran standouts such as Emmanuel Sanders, Sheldon Rankins, Janoris Jenkins, and Trey Hendrickson. So, simply put, it wasn't a fun offseason in New Orleans. But hey, the show must go on. At the 2021 draft, the Saints stunned many when they took Houston defensive end Peyton Turner with the number 28 selection. Like Leatherwood, Turner wasn't expected to be a first-rounder. There's a lot of concerns here regarding the Saints' defense. Veteran Pro Bowler Cameron Jordan is a year older, and losing Hendrickson and Rankins dealt two big blows to that front seven. So you're talking about inevitable regression as far as the defensive line goes. And Turner has to compete with Marcus Davenport for playing time. Good luck with that. This is a tough situation for Turner to be in, and there will be a ton of pressure for him to perform on a team whose Super Bowl window is closing rather quickly, if he can even earn enough snaps as a starter in the first place. Kadarius Toney. We really like Kadarius Toney, the player, and we think he'll be a Pro Bowl talent even on a New York Giants team with major questions at quarterback. But it's not just Daniel Jones' inconsistency that has us worried about Toney's development and his production in 2021. It's also the fact that he's playing on one of the league's most crowded receiving depth charts. The Giants have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Reclamation Project John Russ, former Detroit Lions star Kenny Golladay, and tight ends Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph. Running back Saquon Barkley will do lots of damage in the pass-catching game too. I mean, honestly, where are all these extra targets going to come from? Even if Jones has a breakout year and does well for the Giants, Toney has a long road to climb to the top of the depth charts. There's just too many obstacles to overcome, which is why it's hard to see the former Gator breaking out anytime soon. Josh Meyers. The Green Bay Packers had to do something after losing veteran star and All-Pro center Corey Linsley to the Los Angeles Chargers in free agency. With the number 62 selection in round 2, the Packers found Linsley's replacement in Ohio State center Josh Meyers. And boy, does the rookie ever have his work cut out for him. Meyers is joining a Packers O-line that has several question marks now. They're banking on David Bakhtiari to be at full strength after missing the end of 2020 with a torn ACL. For Meyers, replacing Linsley's production is easier said than done, and the Packers have plenty of question marks at quarterback following the news of Aaron Rodgers' desire to leave the franchise. So Meyers joins a suspect defensive line, and he doesn't know if Rodgers will be his quarterback or not. If it is Jordan Love who starts week 1, that just puts more pressure on Meyers and the O-line to hold up. Other than that, all is looking fine for Meyers as he prepares for the NFL. Rashod Bateman. The Baltimore Ravens did what everyone expected them to do: take a wide receiver in the first round. With the number 27 selection, they took Minnesota wideout Rashod Bateman. He joins a receiving group that consists of star tight end Mark Andrews, third-year receiver Marquise Brown, and free agent pickup Sammy Watkins. There is a good chance that Bateman starts the season as the number 4 pass-catching option for Lamar Jackson. Not to mention that the Ravens will be a run-first team as usual. Ravens receivers have also struggled to find success in Greg Roman's offense. It's not necessarily a bad thing given the team's ability to get it done with Jackson and an explosive rushing offense, but it certainly won't help Bateman produce as a rookie in this offense. Remember how high Hollywood Brown's ceiling was when the Ravens drafted him? We continue to await his breakout year. Also, no Baltimore player has hit 1,000 receiving yards in a season since Mike Wallace did it in 2016. Again, this isn't to say that Bateman will be a bust in Baltimore, but 2021 will be a learning year for him. It's going to take some time to move up the depth chart, to develop chemistry with Jackson, and to get accustomed to an offense that isn't exactly built around receivers in the passing game. So we're just trying to be realistic here, folks. Najee Harris. The Pittsburgh Steelers finished with the NFL's worst rushing offense last season, averaging a woeful 84.4 yards per game. The solution? Drafting Alabama running back Najee Harris, whom they took with the number 24 selection. Now, we usually don't like the idea of using first-round picks on running backs, but this is kind of an exception. The Steelers need a game changer in the backfield, especially with their Super Bowl window closing. That said, it's also reasonable to believe that Harris will struggle to produce in his rookie season. This is because we expect the Steelers to have one of the league's worst offensive lines in 2020. Their unit ranked just 17th according to PFF last year, and they lost Alejandro Villanueva to free agency, along with 9-time Pro Bowler Marquise Pouncey to retirement. If this unit couldn't block for James Conner and company in 2020, imagine how much worse it'll be without 2 key starters in 2021. No matter how great of a running back you are, you can only do so much if the O-line isn't opening any holes for you. Also, Ben Roethlisberger looks like he is well past his prime, so defenses may stack the box frequently on Harris and dare Pittsburgh to throw on them. It's just not looking good for Harris as far as individual production is concerned for 2021. Davis Mills. This just feels like a lose-lose for Mills. The Houston Texans used the number 67 selection on the Stanford quarterback, whose stock rose considerably in the final weeks leading up to the draft. There is a chance that disgruntled quarterback Deshaun Watson doesn't get traded this offseason. He may have to play one more year in Houston before the Texans fulfill his trade request. If that's the case, Mills will be a bench player in his rookie year. But what if Watson leaves and Mills becomes the starter ahead of free agent signing Tyrod Taylor? Well, then he's playing behind a woeful offensive line with no Pro Bowl caliber playmakers at his disposal. Randall Cobb and Brandon Cook aren't exactly game changers. Who knows what sort of impact rookie Nico Collins will bring? And the rushing game just doesn't offer much support. So in other words, Mills isn't in position to succeed as the starter either. And in that case, Houston will likely finish at the bottom of the standings and take their next franchise quarterback with what promises to be an early pick at the 2022 draft. Mills is going to a rebuilding team in disarray with a new coaching staff and very little talent across the roster. So good luck to him. But hey, what other NFL rookies are in bad situations? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.